Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Mikhail Peters. Oh, you have so disgusting of a face. Why do you love being on camera so much? Alright, that's fine. She's entertained by looking at herself. We can really tell that this is the pajama edition because I'm like always wearing the same shirt. Oh, yeah, you remember. I was wearing this shirt a lot while I was pregnant last summer. Okay, so... Oh no. Alright, so, luckily I don't have too much going on in my life right now. Things are pretty boring and I love that. Cool. Alright. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about child support in Finland because this is something that I'm currently dealing with. And this is going to be for informational purposes, but of course you should always consult proper authorities and blah, 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 disclaimer here. And you can look this stuff up, like I'm not just like saying things. So, you know, generally, if you're in a situation where you're like a single woman and you're pregnant, they're gonna wanna know how it came to be that you're pregnant. Besides, you know, obviously this happens. Yes. And makes children. Yes. Okay. So, I will preface this with, the wind, it's very strong today. Really, it is. I somewhat recently met, you know, a woman who owned a coffee shop. That's not relevant. Who raised her daughter alone. One of the things that's cool about raising your child alone is you have complete autonomy over how to raise them, because obviously it is impossible for two people to agree on anything all the time. And when she gave birth in the hospital, they're like, who is the man? And she knew who it was, but she was like, I just let him off the hook. He didn't have to pay child support. I'm really glad this is entertaining you. That's cool. I guess this is what we're gonna have to do in the mornings to entertain her somewhat. Yes. What else can I give you? A chocolate. Alright, so she let this guy off the hook, and this was in the US, by the way. She let the guy off the hook and raised a child alone, and that was it. And the government really did kind of plead with her to be like, you know, can you like tell us who the guy is? And she's like, no. So that's very interesting. That approach doesn't work in Finland. So I don't want to say like I'm a person of interest, but like, yeah, I'm a person of concern, let's say, due to the fact that, yes, single mother pregnant, no family here, foreigner, like, I was a little bit like, they were really trying to make sure I was okay. So, you know, I had to talk to social services. They provide other support. I mean, it's not really like I used much of that mental health support, whatever. I just kind of just dealt with it, you know, like Americans do. Now, I mean, whatever. I think I'm mostly used to dealing with that stuff in the US, so when I'm here, I'm just trying to chill. But anyway, you know, the whole thing is then, you know, I'm talking to social services and I'm like, so if I don't know who the father is, or I tell you I don't know, like, what are you going to do? And they're like, well, then we're going to try to figure it out for you. And the only lead they had was my roommate, and I was like, yeah, no, we are not going that path. So I'm like, it was just much easier to actually tell them, because obviously I knew who it was. I mean, I guess there are instances where you don't know, and then that's when you really got to go do the DNA testing, and like, no, it's not that bad. So this ended up being a thing. And, you know, I think okay, I don't know what's going on in the world today, that people just cannot take responsibility for their actions, or people expect everything to be easy, or to me first world. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to talk about that here. Things are crazy these days, and like, people will generally agree that that's true. I mean, things have always been crazy, but they become crazy, and the crazy changes form. So, it's really not okay at this point in modern society to just get a girl pregnant and not do anything about it. Because, it is illegal to do nothing. And doing nothing usually just means paying child support, and not paying child support is illegal. So, yes, we're going to start with that. But anyway, in Finland, they have certain services for this. Again, I don't know how this would work in the US because this was not what I was doing. So I'm here to just talk about the process for immigrants. And, I don't know how many immigrants have had to go through this. I'm sure some, but it's definitely not a situation you hear of often. Leave it to me to end up in that kind of situation. I just really am dreading the day when I have to explain all this to my child, because it's what even happened here? It's like a fever dream. But this is what somebody said. They're like, I haven't been in Finland now. It's been 3 years for this person. And he's like, it just feels like a fever dream at this point. I was like, I understand. He's like, what do you mean? You're going back all the time. For you still have ties. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Anyway, so there's something called a child supervisor, which is the person who literally handles the case for this. And Finland's a small country. There's not a lot going on here. It's not like it's the most impossible thing to work with this person. And people are like, you should hire a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. No, why do I need to hire a lawyer when I could just read the law online myself and go through the process? The idea is that it's not really particularly fair to get stuck with a child and not do anything. It's not like her father died. And apparently, even if her father had died, then you get stuff like survivor benefits or something. Not that I'm saying I would have wanted that, because that's not a good situation either. Okay, so basically this person launches an investigation, and they need to interview you to be like, who do you think the father is? And then, the whole DNA testing, and then the DNA testing thing will happen, and then the paternity will be established, hopefully through the DNA testing. And then once that happens, I have to sign off and accept the paternity. Okay, interesting. So, for legal purposes, right now, she does not have a father. And really the whole reason why Finland cares a lot about establishing paternity is because any sort of financial support that is going towards you as a single parent is being picked up by tax dollars. And so the idea is the burden shifts away from tax dollars and onto the individual who is responsible for the child. So that's where the incentive is coming from. The very interesting thing about Finland, but also, in Russia, they had this. In Russia, it's called, what the heck is it? Maternal capital, I guess, if it even translates that way. Here, it's a child benefit allowance. But yes, the idea that you have a child, you get 100 and whatever bucks a month. It's not it's huge, but, we take what we can get. So it's not a concept at all in the US. They give you absolutely nothing. Here, I get to ride public transportation for free with a stroller. Honestly, having a child in Finland is literally great. The best thing ever. So I keep saying, I'm this is literally the best place for this terrible situation to have, happen to me. I look, I don't wish this situation on anyone, but it is what it is. So, you bear the consequences of your actions. I don't know what to say. So, yes, I have to sign off on the paternity when that finally happens. Yeah, and I don't even know what else to add to this at this point, because this is literally how the process goes. Well, part of the challenge that I had, and I mistakenly assumed that these two went together. So generally, if you're getting married in Finland as a foreign person, you're going to need to prove that you're not married in your home country. The typical way to do this, at least as an American, is to go to the U.S. Embassy and get a single status affidavit, which then has to be accepted by the DVV, which is the Population Services of Finland. And yeah, that would be good normally if you were getting married. But I guess because, I don't know why mine was not accepted, and I don't fully know if I keep freezing. If they were in communication with each other, like the child supervisor and the DBV, like this stuff I'm unclear on. But basically my single status affidavit document ended up being rejected for whatever reason. Maybe I should have tried to figure out why, but I didn't. Okay. So, I ended up going a different, like, more legal route, which is that I went to the state of New Jersey, and I went to Trenton, where they keep all these records, which, interestingly enough, I may need to go back there if I'm still trying to figure out this Italian citizenship thing. Like, the current idea I have, even though I don't feel like doing this because it's going to cost a lot of money, is that I'll make my mom apply for Italian citizenship. I'm starting to do this thing that Finnish people do, where it's like they mess up when they're saying words like that, like citizenship, like citizenship. I don't know how to explain it, but if you're Finnish and watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Like, now I'm accidentally getting a Finnish accent in English. Oh no, citizenship. But whatever. So same building. It's like some sort of, what is this building called? Okay, basically it's where they store marriage, birth, and death certificates. And it's actually not that easy to just request certificates for your parents, and then I would need to bring my birth certificate, which I didn't bring, which, thank God that survived the fire that was in my dad's house, because that's where my certificate was, and that would have been super annoying to have to order another one of those. But that's, I digress. Anyway, so I have that, I do have my birth certificate, but it smells like fire. It's fine. So, anyway, this building, I had to go and get this document. I tried to send away for this document 2 times and kept messing up the application. I went in person and almost messed up the application again. And that was super terrible because I was trying to do it on my way back from Maryland, and, like, we were not having a good car ride with this one. You do not like the car very much, do you? No, I do not. Okay, so that sucked. Then I had to go back a different day and get it apostilled, and then I brought it to the DBV, and then I was like, is this the document you need? And then they're like, it could take 4 months to process. Luckily, my Finnish friend came with me, and he was like, oh, well, like, it's kind of urgent because they need it for this thing. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, then we can do it. And then they did it like a week later. So that part was, like, the part that I had to do, and that took a while. As far as I'm concerned, everything is, like, done at this point, besides me needing to go and sign off on this paper whenever it comes to exist. Cool. But yeah, I mean, it's a process, and it's like, what is the benefit of doing this, okay, aside from agitating the child's father? The point is to protect the child and give the child certain benefits. So, for instance, if he does die, she gets whatever, because obviously there's nobody else to leave it to here. So that's one benefit. I mean, the other benefit is just obviously having some sort of support. And support for children can come in many different ways. It can come financially, it can come emotionally, it can come through actions. But, you know, here, the inaction route becomes the financial route. So you get what you pay for. That doesn't really apply here. Okay, I don't know. But that's currently how this is going. I feel pretty good about the fact that this whole situation is done, because it's been a lot of work, and obviously, like, I try to make it very, like, oh, this is how it is. But, like, yes, it is very emotional that, like, I even have to think about this, because it's annoying. And just disappointing, you know, disappointing is the biggest word I think I have for the whole situation, but it is what it is, like, and it's an unfortunate situation, like, it really is, but at the end of the day, I still believe a child is a blessing and a gift from God, so I try to focus on that. Yeah, they're in the best mood in the morning, probably the best time to film these videos since I'm with her all day, and this baby does not take naps. I do not know what is going on. Yesterday, she took one 40-minute nap. That was crazy. Why? You're already like an adult and getting rid of your nap time. What is going on here? Maybe she'll be like me and just not do nap time at school. I remember that was the worst part of kindergarten, was like, you got a gummy bear for being quiet, but I would just have to lay awake the whole time because I could not sleep at school. Whatever. Anyway. So that's everything. That's how that works that I know of here. I'm sure the process is different in the US. However, the most interesting thing I would like to note is that I do not know why it works this way. I think this is actually incredibly unfair to the man. But if I were married in America, which is why I had to prove this child is the responsibility of my husband, regardless of who the father is. So if I went and had an affair outside my marriage and became pregnant, this child is still the responsibility of my husband. Like, I think that's actually crazy because I'm pretty sure in the US it does not work like that, but for some reason here it does. And I'm like, is this one of the reasons why Finnish people don't get married and then they just eternally live together? Could be. Aside from the fact that there are also absolutely no tax benefits for being married here. In the US it is still more advantageous to get married from a tax perspective. Yeah, from a tax perspective. I mean, there are other reasons you should get married, obviously, but like, I'd say that's like the differentiating factor, you know, because people are very like, oh, live together before you get married, whatever, blah blah blah. I don't know. So that's fine. Have that opinion. I don't know. That's pretty much it. So I again wanted to make this for semi-informational purposes because maybe it's interesting or important to somebody out there, and like this, literally, I am just outlining the process. Again, I know there's probably a process in the US. I could look up some videos on that myself and try to understand the difference. It's just like, this is kind of a really weird situation I've ended up in. I don't know, like, I always used to be like, why did I come to Finland? And it's like, really just like some crazy stuff really just keeps happening here, and this would be one of those things, so. Still a mystery to me. Why am I even here? But alas, here we are. I made some joke about how I was like, yeah, you know, when I first came to Finland, why is there a hair in my coffee? When I first came to Finland, I really wanted to be in Helsinki, and I was like, maybe I'd be a lot happier. I'm like, but now I'm stuck in Lappeenranta. I'm like, it's like I've got Stockholm syndrome with Lappeenranta, and they were just like, and I was like, come on, that was a funny joke. Alright, the end. I hope this video is not too crazy. Like this child right now, why are you screaming at your baby? You cannot scream at your baby. Yeah, so that's everything. I don't know, whatever. I'm like kind of trying to do a weird manifestation thing with trying to figure out like what the actual solution is with this whole situation. It's on this piece of paper. I actually told somebody about this yesterday, and they're like, how do you do this? And I'm like, well, I write it down on a piece of paper, and then I pray about it, and then I'm like, and it feels really corny, and I don't care, because it's like worked, like, at least, it's worked at least one time. No, there was a second time it worked, but I forget what it was. I don't know, whatever, I have to think about it. Yep, so we did that, and sometimes it's not the answer you want, but you'll get an answer. Sometimes it's a very shocking answer, but whatever. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I gotta go hang out with my friend. This is literally one of the best months of my life because I just get to chill, and I'm not stressed out, and I know it's temporary that I'm not stressed out, but like, yeah. Like, it's the best. All you need to do to be not stressed out is go live in a very boring place. But then you might be depressed instead. But right now I'm not because it's summertime, so it's good. All good here. And we're hanging out and having fun, even though she's not letting me clean the house sometimes. Alright, well, that's all I have for today. I need to think of some real topics. I mean, this is a real topic, and I did think about making this video for a while, but it felt really weird because it's like kind of personal, but it's really not. It's just me explaining how this process works. So that's kind of it. I'm going to a summer cottage actually of my friends like later this week, so maybe I'll make a video about that. Could be interesting. All right, well, until next time, bye.